that nest theorem we will do it. Okay. We will do second theorem. First theorem yesterday what we have discussed. This statement of this theorem also you should remember. We will use this statement in the nest theorem. Able to hear now? Okay. Now we will that one first theorem what we discussed yesterday. Let S be a non-empty subset of a vector space V of F. Then we proved that L of S is a subspace of V. S is contained in L of S, and L of S is the smallest subspace of V containing S. Then what is L of S? L of S means linear span. What is linear span? If S is set of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc., alpha n, be a non-empty subset of a vector space V, then L of S is the set of all linear combination of the form C1 alpha 1 plus etc. Cn alpha n, where Ci belongs to F and all alpha I belongs to S. That is L of S. Then we proved L of S is a subspace of V. Then S is contained in L of S, and L of S is the smallest subspace of V containing S. Then we will move on to the next theorem. Let V be a vector space over the field F. S and T be two non-empty subset of V. Then we have to prove two conditions. First condition is S contained in T implies L of S contained in L of T. The next one we should prove L of S equal to S implies S is a subspace of V. Now we will prove each condition one by one. First condition, what we should prove? S is contained in T given, then we should prove that L of S is contained in L of T. That means S contained in T means one element alpha belongs to S, alpha belongs to T. Now we should prove L of S contained in L of T. Then if I take alpha belongs to L of S means I should get that alpha belongs to L of T also. To prove that condition, we take alpha belongs to L of S. But what is meant by L of S? It is the set of all linear combination. Then we can write alpha as, how we can write alpha? C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n, because alpha is in linear combination. Then alpha can be written as the C1 alpha is in linear span of S. Then alpha can be written as C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha, where all these alpha I belongs to S and Ci belongs to F. Now, what we assumed? S is contained in T. S contained in T. Here what we have, that one I belongs to S. Alpha I belongs to S means since S contained in T, we can write alpha I belongs to T. That means we got alpha equal to C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n, where alpha I, instead of S, we got that alpha I belongs to T and Ci belongs to F. This is small ci. Here it is small ci. Ci belongs to F. Then alpha can be written as linear combination of the elements in T, means what we can say? Alpha is there in the linear span of T. From where we started? alpha belongs to L of S we started. We got that alpha belongs to L of t. That means we can say L of S is contained in L of t. Okay, I'll repeat. What are things given? Here, condition is given as S contained in T. Then what we should prove? L of S is contained in L of T. We take L of S contained in L of T we should prove. For that, we consider one alpha belongs to L of S. Then we should get that same alpha belongs to L of T. Then, since alpha belongs to L of S means linear span. That means alpha can be written as linear combination of the elements in S. That means alpha can be written as C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n, where all alpha I belongs to S and Ci belongs to F. But alpha I belongs to S and S is contained in T, then we can say alpha I belongs to T. Then what we got? Alpha is linear combination of C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn n. All these alpha I belongs to T. That means alpha is the linear combination of the elements in T. And Ci belongs to F. Then what we get? Alpha belongs to linear span of T. Or we can write L of S is contained in L of T. Now we should move on to the next one condition we should prove. What is that next condition? What we should prove it here? L of S equal to S if and only if S is a subspace of V. Then what we have to assume first? L of S equal to S. Then by previous theorem, yesterday's theorem, we proved that L of S is a subspace of V. See, we have already proved L of S is a subspace of V. Then L of S is a subspace of V means since L of S equal to S, then what it will become? L of S is a subspace of V. Then first condition we got. Next condition we got. Next what we have to prove? First what we have proved? L of S equal to S we assume. Since L of S is a subspace of V, S also is a subspace of V. Then necessary condition we got. Next we should move on to the converse part. For converse part, what we should assume? S is a subspace of V. Then what we have to prove? L of S equal to S. But for that also, we proved in that yesterday's theorem 1, S is contained in L of S. We got this condition, S is contained in L of S. Then what we should prove? We should prove only one condition, L of S is contained in S. Then what we assume? S is a subspace of V. Since this one already we proved S is contained in L of S, then we should prove only one more condition, L of S is contained in S. Then how we will prove L of S is contained in S? We will take one element, alpha in L of S. We take alpha belongs to L of S. Then L of S means it is linear span. Then alpha can be written as linear combination of the elements in S. Then alpha can be written as C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n. For alpha I belongs to S and Ci belongs to F. But what we have assumed that S is a subspace of V. Alpha 1 belongs to S, alpha 2 belongs to S means by the definition of a subspace we have already proved that C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 belongs to S. Similarly, by combining that, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 belonging to S means what we get? C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 belongs to S. Or we get C1 alpha 1, all these alpha I belongs to S. Then C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n belongs to S. We started from alpha belongs to L of S. Then what we got? Alpha belongs to S. Then we can say L of S is contained in S. Then we, first of all, from that previous theorem we got S contained in L of S. Now what we got? L of S contained in S. Then we can say L of S equal to S. Okay, second part alone I will discuss. Second part, what we have to prove that L of S equal to S if and only if S is a subspace of V. First we assume that L of S equal to S. Since L of S is a subspace of V, S also is a subspace of V. Then we got necessary condition. Second thing, we assume that S is a subspace of V. Then we should prove L of S equal to S. But yesterday in that theorem 1, already we proved that S is contained in L of S. Then we should prove one more condition, L of S is contained in S. Then what we get that? For that, how we should take any element alpha belongs to L of S. Since L of S is linear span, we can write alpha as linear combination of the elements in S. That means alpha can be written as C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n, where each alpha I belongs to S and Ci belongs to F. But we assume that S is a subspace of V. Alpha 1 alpha 2 belongs to S means C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 belongs to S. Like that, combining that, since all alpha I belongs to S, we get C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n belongs to S. That means we can write that alpha belongs to L of S implies alpha belongs to S, or L of S is contained in S. Then from that to condition, S is contained in L of S, L of S is contained in S, we can write L of S equal to S. Okay, now next problem, yesterday already discussed that only. Then same problem that we are doing one more method, matrix method. Then whichever method is easy, you can select that method. Because in some cases, if we solve two equations combining and solving, it will take time. Those who are those who know to reduce reduce echelon form, that method will be easy. Then we will try to, that's one, we are doing this problem by using the matrix method. For that, I am not that telling any answers are, I will ask one by one. You should tell me that. Okay. Write the question. Example 1, yesterday we did same that one only, we will have to get it same C1, C2, C3, we should get that. Then we will write that we will solve that by using matrix method. Okay. Write the question. Express the vector 3, 5, 2 as a linear combination of the vectors 1, 1, 0, 2, 3, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, I will ask one by one. You should unmute yourself and tell me the answer. Tell me, Pranav, how can we write that vector? We should write this as a linear combination of the vectors 1, 1, 0, 2, 3, 0, 0, 0, 1. Then What is that linear combination? First expression 3, 5, 2 equal to, how can we write as linear combination? Pranav, I am asking you. Boys, tell me. Uh, yeah, one by one, that now alternate days only attend the class. That will be better. Okay, I will just move on to that. Better now. Simply time waste, I think so. We will move on to, you can mute yourself. I will move on to the problem. We should express the vector 352 as a linear combination of the vectors 110, 230, 001 of V3 of R. Then how we will write first? As a linear combination means 352 equal to C1 110 plus C2 230 plus C3 001. Then we will solve that equations. First we should write that. How we have to write as a linear combination? 352 can be written as C1 110 plus C2 230 plus C3 001. Then add that one. What you get? Here first element C1 plus 2C2. You can write directly. No need of this step on. You can write it directly. C1 plus 2C2. First element. Second element, what we get? C1 plus 3C2. Third element, what we get? Here 0, here also 0. Then third element is C3. Then we should solve that. In this case, we get directly. No need of solving that one by using matrix method. Then we got C1 plus 2 C2 3. Then here C1 plus 3 C2 5 and C3 2. Here only two vectors are, two equations are there. You can directly also solve it. This same question I discussed yesterday. That's why I am moving on to the next one. Next one, see that here S element it's given. Then we have to show 3 minus 7 6 is in L of S. Again, one more thing. In case if you miss any classes are in the same app, recordings are previous classes, it's available. You can watch that and you can do the problems also. But you should attend the class. In case some emergency like that some happens, or if you miss, you can go through that recordings also. I think you'd have seen that one more tab, recordings, in that your students login. Then in that recordings will be available after the class, after some time. I think after 3-4 hours it will come in the recordings also. Okay, now we will move on to this problem. Here it is 3 vectors, 3 minus 7 6. Then how can we write this as? We can write it as linear combination of first element C1 into 1 minus 3 2 plus C2 into 2 for 1 plus C3 into 1 1 1. Okay, how can we write? 3 minus 7 6. We can write it as linear combination of 1 minus 3 2, 2 for 1 1 1 1. Then C1 into 1 minus 3 2 plus C2 into 2 for 1 plus C3 into 1 1 1. Add all the, then what we get? First element is C1 plus 2C2 plus C3. Second element, what we get? Minus 3C1 plus 4C2 plus C3. Then third one, 2C1 plus C2 plus C3. Then we get that three equations. What is first equation? C1 plus 2C2 plus C3 equal to 3. Second equation, what we get? Minus 3C1 plus 4C2 plus C3 equal to minus 7. Then third equation, what we get? 2c1 plus c2 plus c3 equal to 6. Then same problem only yesterday we discussed. Yesterday how we have solved that? We combined two equations. Then C3 first we removed from these two equations. Then equation 1 and 2 we have taken, removed C3. Then we took equation 1 and 3, then removed C3. Then again C1, then we got equation in terms of C1 and C2. Again we removed C1. Then we found C2 value, then substituted like that. Then instead of doing like that, we can use one more method, that is by using matrix method. First of all, we should write the matrix AB. What we get that, how we write this and how we change these equations in the form of a matrix. What you get? 1, 2, 1, 3. Then second row, what it will be? -3, 4, 1, -7. Then next 2, 1, 1, 6. Got the matrix? How we are getting? 1 coefficients you should write. First row 1, 2, 1, 3. Second row -3, 4, 1, -7. Next 2, 1, 1, it is 6. Now we can use raw reduced echelon form. Raw reduced echelon form, I hope all of you remember. What we will do that? We will make these two elements, we will make it as 0. For that, what we can write it as? First condition, here it is -3. I should make that as 0. Then what we can write? R2 plus 3R1. Then the next one, this term I should make it as 0, this 2. Then what we can write? R3 minus 2R1. Now simplify that. All of you should try yourself to reduce the matrix into raw reduced term, raw reduced echelon form. Then what we get? First row we are not changing. Then we get 1, 2, 1, 3. Next we are changing this one as R2 plus 3R1. Then -3 plus 3, 0. Then here what we get? Second next element 4 plus 6, 10. Then 1 plus 3, 4. Then next is -7 plus 9. You will get 2. Now we got second row. We should find out third row. How we get? R3 minus 2R1. 2 minus 2, 0. 1 minus 4, -3. Then 1 minus 2, -1. Next is 6 minus 6, 0. Next, what we should make? The second row as 1. Second row as 1. Here second row we should change it as 1. For that, what we can do it? We can divide it by 10. Then what we get? Here we are second row we are dividing it by 10 means we get 1. 4 by 10. 4 by 10 means 2 by 5. Then 2 by 10, that means 1 by 5. Third row we didn't change. Next, what we should make? This -3 as 0. For that, what we can do? R3 plus 3R2. First and second row we didn't change. Here this term also it will become 0. Next, what we will get? 1 plus 6 by 5. 1 plus 6 by 5. Here it is one mistake is there. You should change that. 1 plus 6 by 5, it will become 11 by 5. Here you should change that. Then here what we get? That 1 plus 3 by 5. That also here also should change that values. Okay. Once I send the notes, no, here just change it, correct it, that one. Then next, what we will get? That because it is solved and written again, because here what we get it as 11 by 5, and here what we are getting, whether you are getting the same 1 by 5. 1 second. Minus 3 plus 3. Here one minus 1 is there. Here one, it is, here it's written wrongly. Here answer is correct, 1 by 5, 3 by 5. Here only made mistake. Here it is minus 1 only. See here, this element 1, it should be minus 1 only. Here it should be minus 1. Here it is 0. Then it is correct only. Then 0 means what we get? 0 plus 3 by 5, 3 by 5. Then here it is minus 1. Then minus 1 plus 6 by 5, it is 1 by 5. This step only, it's wrong. Here it should be, just see, in the first matrix, 0, minus 3, minus 1 is 0. Then here also we didn't change that third row. Then 0, minus 3, minus 1, 0. Then we get that 0, 0, 1 by 5, 3 by 5. Here that last matrix is correct. Second matrix, that third row, it is not correct. You should correct it. Then system is consistent. We got 3 by 3 matrix. Here that rank of AB is 3 and rank of A also what we are getting 3. Then it is consistent. Then it will be having a unique solution. Then how we will change this into equation? C1 plus 2C2 plus C3 equal to 3. Then next what we get that? C2 plus 2 by 5, C3 equal to 2 by 5. We can multiply with 5. Then we get 5C2 plus 2C3 equal to 1. Next we get C3 by 5 equal to 3 by 5. 5, 5 when we cancel, C3 equal to 3. Now C3 we got, we can substitute in here. Then we get C2 equal to minus 1. Again substitute in the first equation, we get C1 also, we get it as 2. Then we get all the values. I'll repeat that, how we have done. First, we should write 3 minus 7, 6 as a linear combination of the elements 1 minus 3, 2 and 2 for 1 and 1, 1, 1. For that, we should try C1 into 1 minus 3, 2 plus C2 into 2 for 1 plus C3 into 1, 1, 1. Then when you simplify, what we get? C1 plus 2C2 plus C3. Then minus 3C1 plus 4C2 plus C3. Third element 2C1 plus C2 plus C3. Then we get 3 equations. C1 plus 2, C2 plus C3 is 3. Like that, 3 equations we get. After getting that 3 equations, we should convert into matrix method. Then what we get? 1, 2, 1, 3. Minus 3, 4, 1, minus 7. 2, 1, 1, it is 6. Then we reduce that into raw reduced echelon form. We will make these two elements minus 3 and 2 are 0. After getting that, we change that 10 into 1. For that we divide it by 10. Then after getting that, we have to make that here we should change that one. We should change that equation R3. Then after reducing into rod reduced echelon form, again we will convert into equations. Then we get C1 plus 2, C2 plus C3. Again, we have multiplied that, we will write C2 plus 2 by 5, C3 is 1 by 5. We can multiply with 5. Then here we get C3 by 5 is 3 by 5 or C3 equal to 3. Then substitute and find out the value for C1 and C2. Similar way, we can do the next problem also. Next problem also yesterday discussed, but if you feel that row reduced echelon form is easy, you can use that one. We should show that the vector 2 minus 5, 3, we have to check that whether it is in L of S. That means what we should write, 2 minus 5, 3, we can write it as C1 into first element, C2 into second element, plus C3 into third element. Then add that, what we get, C1 plus 2C2 plus C3. Second one, minus 3C1 minus 4C2 minus 5C3. Third element, 2C1 minus C2 plus 7C3. Then how we have done yesterday, we will convert that into equations. Then what we get, that first one, C1 plus 2C2 plus C3, 2. Minus 3C1 minus 4C2 minus 5C3 minus 5. Then 2C1 minus C2 plus 7C3, it is 3. After getting that equation, we will change that one into matrix. Then what we get? 1, first row what we get it as 1, 2, 1, 2. Then minus 3 minus 4 minus 5 is minus 5. Then 2 minus 1, 7, it is 3. Then after getting this, we should change into row reduced echelon form. For that, we have to change these two, minus 3 and 2 as 0. Then what is that one method? How we will change? R2 plus 3R1. Then R3, how we change? R3 minus 2R1. Then what we get? First row, we have not changed that. Then next one, what we get? Minus 3 plus 3, 0. Minus 4 plus 6, 2. Minus 5 plus 3, minus 2. Then next, minus 5 plus 6, 1. We got second row. Similarly, we can do third row. What we should do? R3 minus 2R1. That means 2 plus 6. Sorry, here what we have to, R3 minus 2R1. That means 2 minus 2, 0. Minus 1, minus 4, minus 5. 7 minus 2, 5. Then 3 minus 4, minus 1. Next, here it is 2. We can change that into 1. For that, divide R2 by 2. Then what we get? 0, 1, minus 1, 1 by 2. Next, what we do? This minus 5 into 0. For that, what we can do? R3 plus 5 R2. That means first and second row we didn't change. Then third row what we get? 0, minus 5 plus 5, 0. Then 5 minus 5, 0. Then minus 1 plus 5 by 2. That means 3 by 2. Now we got that matrix form. First of all, we should check whether this matrix is consistent. How you check that it is consistent? Rank of AB and rank of A. Rank of AB means what it is rank of AB? How we find out? Number of non-zero rows only. Number of non-zero rows of AB, what we get? Here one row, second row, third row. Then rank of AB is 3. Now rank of A. Rank of A means only first matrix we should check. 1 to 1, 0, 1 minus 1, 0, 0, 0. Then how many non-zeros are there? First row is there, second row is there. Third row what it has become? 0, 0, 0. That means we got rank of AB is 3, but rank of A what it is? 2. Then it is not consistent, then it has no solution. No solution means what it is? We can express that. We cannot express it as a linear combination. Have you understood how we changed into raw, how we changed in that equations into matrix, then we reduced into raw reduced echelon form. Then we can find out the values for C1, C2, C3. Okay, now one more concept we will do that. At least one more concept and one theorem we will try to complete it. 10 more, 15 minutes is there, I think so. At least one more concept and next one. Any doubts in the previous problem? How we are doing that? Matrix method. Why I discuss matrix method also? Because we have to do some more problems finding rank in Olympiad. In that case, if we use this matrix method, that will be easy. Okay. Shall I move on to the next one? Dependence and independence. We will move on to the next one concept. What is linear dependence and linear independence? Definition will be asked for 2 marks question. Then problems also will be there. Given vectors will be given. You have to show that it is linearly dependent or independent. That type of problems also will be asked for 2 marks. Okay. First of all, what is the definition of linear dependence? Then consider vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n of V of f. Then it is said to be linearly dependent. You should understand each concept properly. If C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Cn alpha n equal to 0 and what at least one scalar should be non-zero. That means at least one Ci. Our scalars are C1, C2, etc. Cn. At least one Ci is non-zero, then it is said to be linearly dependent. Just assume that we take, instead of taking all the elements, we take 3 elements, C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 equal to 0. Assume C1 and C2 equal to 0. Then what we get? C3 alpha 3 equal to 0. Then, or first one, we take C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 equal to 0. C3 is 0. Then what we get? C1 alpha 1 equal to minus C2 alpha 2. In that case also alpha 1 is depending upon alpha 2. Like that, at least one Ci is non-zero, then we can say that it is linearly dependent. Understood? C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 equal to 0 means what we get? Alpha 1 can be written as linear combination of which one? Alpha 2. That means alpha 1 is depending upon alpha 2. Then we can say that it is linearly dependent. And it is said to be linearly independent. Only one change, all these Ci should be 0. If all Ci's are 0, then it is said to be linearly independent. And if at least one Ci is non-zero, we can say that it is linearly dependent. Got the idea? We have to do problems also based on that. First one, what is that? Linearly dependent. What is linearly dependent means? Vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n of V of f is said to be linearly dependent if C1 alpha 1 plus etc. Cn alpha n equal to 0 and at least one scalar Ci is non-zero. Then if it is linearly independent, all Ci should be equal to 0. Okay, now we will move on to one theorem. Then we will wind up. First one, what is that theorem statement? V is a vector space. Then we should prove 3 conditions. First condition, subset of V containing 0 vector is linearly dependent. If it contains zero vector means set 0, then it is linearly dependent. Then next is set consisting of single vector. If it is only one vector, it will become linearly independent if and only if alpha not equal to 0. This theorem statements are, we will use it in some problems also. Then you should remember all the things. Then next one, every non-empty subset of a linearly independent set is linearly independent. Next one is fourth one, superset of a linearly dependent set is linearly dependent. Then we will prove one by one. We will discuss. First one, what it is? Subset of V containing zero vector. Consider S equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n. We take, let alpha I equal to 0. Then alpha I equal to 0, only one element. That means that is same as 0 alpha 1. 0 alpha 1 means 0. 0 alpha 2 again 0. 0 alpha 3 plus etc. 1 into alpha I plus etc. 0 alpha n equal to 0. What we have taken? Only which element is existing? Alpha I equal to 0 means that is same as 1 into alpha I equal to 0. That means all other vectors what should be? It should be 0. And which one Ci, which one element is not 0? This Ci, here it should be C1 alpha 1, C1 is 0. C2 alpha 2, C2 also 0. C3 alpha 3, 0. Like that, Ci alpha I. But what is Ci? It is 1. Then Ci is non-zero. Then at least one scalar is non-zero. What it will become? Our S will become linearly dependent. That means if it contains a zero vector, then we can say that it will become linearly dependent. Okay, how we have taken? We have taken S as alpha 1 to alpha n. We consider alpha I equal to 0. Alpha I 0, alpha I is the subset of S. Sorry, alpha I we are taking as 0. Alpha I 0 means what we will get, that alpha I can be written as 1 into alpha I equal to 0. But 1 into alpha I means what we can write? All other vectors 0 plus 1 into alpha I is 0. Then for all Ci's except which one? Here Ci equal to 1. All other C1, C2, C3, Cn, all other things are all 0. But only Ci, it is 1. Then it is non-zero. Then it has at least one scalar. Then it will become linearly dependent. Next, what we should prove? One set is there that containing a single vector alpha. We have to prove that it is linearly independent if and only if alpha not equal to 0. For that, first condition we do, what we should take it? S equal to alpha. One single vector is there. We assume that it is linearly independent. Then what we should prove? Then alpha not equal to 0 we should prove. For that, we assume let alpha, we take the contrary. We have to prove that alpha not equal to 0. But we take alpha equal to 0. Alpha equal to 0 means what it will get? By previous this condition only, first condition. If it contains a 0 vector, what it will become? It will become linearly dependent. But what we assume, it is linearly independent. It's a contradiction. Then what we get? Alpha not equal to 0. Then next what we have to assume? Alpha not equal to 0 means we should get S is linearly independent. Alpha not equal to 0 means we can consider C alpha equal to 0. C alpha equal to 0 means either C should be 0 or alpha equal to 0. But what we assumed? Alpha not equal to 0. Then alpha not equal to 0 means only one condition. What is that? C equal to 0. Then here how many that one? Only one vector is there. C alpha equal to 0. That C also we got it as 0. Then all Ci 0 means what we can say? It is linearly independent. Okay, how we are proving second proof? We are taking one set S containing a vector single vector alpha. We assume that it is linearly independent. We should prove that alpha not equal to 0. But for that, we take contradiction. We take the contrary that alpha is 0. But alpha 0 means by first condition we get, then S will become linearly dependent. But our S is linearly independent. Then it is a contradiction. Therefore, alpha should not be equal to 0. The next how we are taking, let alpha not equal to 0. We should prove that S is linearly independent. It contains only one vector. Only alpha is there. Then what will be that linear combination? C alpha equal to 0. C alpha equal to 0 means this condition also we proved in first theorem. C alpha equal to 0. Either C equal to 0, alpha equal to 0. But our alpha not equal to 0. Then which one should be 0? Only C should be 0. Then only one scalar is there, C. That scalar is 0. That means what we get? It is linearly independent. All the scalars are 0 means we can say that that set is linearly independent. Next we will move on to the next one. Third one. Third one, what we should prove? Third one is every non-empty subset of independent set is independent. We should take some independence at one any set subset we should take. We have to take S is alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n linearly independent set. Then T, take T. We are taking a subset of S. We take I elements alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. Alpha I, it's a subset of S. Then what we should prove? If S is linearly independent, this subset T also is linearly independent. Since S is linearly independent, we should prove what is that T is linearly independent. Then for that, we should consider the expression C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 plus etc. Ci alpha I equal to 0. That means C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Ci alpha I. Here whether it has elements alpha I plus 1 to alpha n. Here it doesn't have, T doesn't have the elements more than alpha I. That means all that scalars what should be? That we can write it as 0. But then we got it as a expression of the form linear combination of which one? Alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, etc. alpha n. This is expression of the form C1 alpha 1 plus etc. Cn alpha n equal to 0. Since S is linearly independent means what is the meaning of all Ci should be equal to 0. All Ci 0 means our what we should get T linearly independent means C1, C2, C3, etc. Ci also 0. Then all these Ci's are 0. What will become to T? T also will become linearly independent. What we should get that? Let S is what we take. S is alpha 1 to alpha n. T what we have to take that? T is a subset of S. T we will take alpha 1 to alpha I. Then we have to prove T is linearly independent. For that we should consider the expression C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. Ci alpha I equal to 0. It contains elements till alpha I. Then coefficient of all other terms alpha I plus 1 to alpha n, that should be 0. But all these vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n are linearly independent. Then all that coefficients what should be? it should be equal to 0. That means C1, C2, etc. Ci also should be 0. Then T also will become linearly independent. Now last condition. Last condition is S is alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I. Here it is linearly dependent. Then what we should show? We should show that superset of a linearly dependent set is also is linearly dependent. LD you can write. Linearly independent means LI we can write. But when you both concepts should be very clear. S what we have taken alpha 1 to alpha I. T we will take superset of S. That means we can take alpha 1 to alpha A. It is superset of S. What is given S? S is linearly dependent. That means expression C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 etc. Ci alpha I equal to 0. What linearly dependent means? What should be? At least one Ci should be non-zero. Then we can write, we will extend that into alpha n. Here still Ci alpha I only we are having in S. Then all other vectors till alpha n, what we can write? All that coefficient as 0. Then C1 alpha 1 plus Ci alpha I plus all other alpha I plus 1 to alpha n with the coefficient 0. Then we got the expression C1 alpha 1 plus etc. Cn alpha n equal to 0. But here at least one scalar is there. At least one scalar is non-zero means what we can say? T means what are the elements? Alpha 1 to alpha n. Then our T also will become linearly dependent. What we have to take? S is alpha 1 to alpha I. It is linearly dependent. Then T, what we have to take? Superset. Superset means we take that alpha 1 to alpha I. We take some more extra terms, alpha I plus 1 to alpha n. It is superset of S. S is linearly independent means C1 plus etc. Ci alpha I equal to 0. But S desing contains the term alpha I plus 1 to alpha n. Then we can write all these terms with the coefficient as 0. Then no change in that in the expression. This expression will be same as C1 plus etc. plus 0 alpha n equal to 0. Here at least one scalar is non-zero. Then what we can say? It is linearly dependent. Okay, I will wind up the class now.